Now, Charlie Kirk says assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of liberals say that it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk. 55% say the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangio. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy. Any setback, whether losing an election or losing a court case, justifies a maximally violent response. This is the natural outgrowth of left-wing protest culture, tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local prosecutors and school officials have turned the left into a ticking time bomb. Now, I don't even need to point out the clearly prophetic nature of this statement. He's speaking about assassination culture. He's trying to blow the whistle on assassination culture, and then he ends up being assassinated by none other than a radicalized left-leaning person. The ticking time bomb, unfortunately, was something that came right to Charlie Kirk himself. And it's something that we're all going to be dealing with now in the aftermath of it, just like we're dealing with it in the aftermath of Luigi Mangione and what he allegedly did to the United Healthcare CEO. And with that, I want to turn to our Vice President, JD Vance, who ended up hosting the Charlie Kirk Show to address everything that's been going on. And we're going to play a few clips there. Although there is a sort of lengthier bit of this, and maybe we'll link in the description down below if you want to check out the rest of his statement.
Are these people violent? I hope not. But are they guilty of encouraging violence? You damn well better believe it. We can thank God that most Democrats don't share these attitudes, and I do, while acknowledging that something has gone very wrong with a lunatic fringe, a minority, but a growing and powerful minority on the far left. There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree.
And there you have it. Yeah, I mean, what you're dealing with is ideologues. There's nothing that you can say to these individuals to have them change their mind. In fact, when you do exactly that, they will spin the things you say and share outright lies about your rhetoric, about your stances, about your ethics, your morals, in order to justify an action that has taken place. And that's what they've done with Charlie Kirk. And it's been really crazy to watch the amount of lies that have been spun, the disgusting nature of what people are saying about him and about his death online. And it's overwhelming at times to think that these are individuals that are living amongst us, that share these things, that believe these things. And I've seen people in my own personal life that I know maybe adjacent to somebody else, or maybe an associate, prior to this taking place, who are celebrating the death. And it's just, it shakes you to your core. These are people that you've shook hands with, you've hugged, you've sat with across a dinner table, and they are now celebrating the death of an individual. And there isn't space for unity on a stance like that. There is only space for, I don't know, at the very least, an attempt to work that person towards a different reality. When you're dealing with an ideologue, there isn't really much you can do until they choose to give that up. That's really how it goes. We're going to get into another clip here from JD Vance.
A couple of months ago, I headlined a fundraiser in Southern California. And since, we'd be out there anyways, my wife and I decided to take our kids to Disneyland one weekend. We had fun, and to be clear, most of the guests said very nice things, or they just left us alone. But there was a loud and very cool minority that would shout at my children, who were 8, 5, and 3, whenever they got the opportunity. "You should disown your dad, you little shit," one middle-aged woman yelled at my 5-year-old. "Tell the Secret Service to protect the Constitution, not your father," screamed another. Are these women violent? Probably not. Are they deranged? Certainly. And while our side of the aisle certainly has its crazies, it is a statistical fact that most of the lunatics in American politics today are proud members of the far left. After Charlie died, one of his friends and one of our senior White House staffers had left-leaning operatives in his neighborhood passing out leaflets telling people what he looked like and where he lived, encouraging neighbors to harass him or, God forbid, to do worse. While he was mourning his dead friend, he and his wife had to worry about the political terrorists drawing a big target on the home he shares with his young children. Are these people violent? I hope not. But are they guilty of encouraging violence? You damn well better believe it.
It's just so insane to me. It's so insane that this is the reality that we are currently living in. And he's asking the question, are these people really violent? And that is a good question to ask, because I think in some ways we are so desensitized to violence that we are just saying things, and we're saying the most brutal, vicious, heinous things we can possibly think of just to get views, just to let out our anger, just to let people know how seriously we take an issue, to sort of grandstand or show our moral superiority. There's many reasons why somebody would speak like this and act so deranged. And oftentimes, when truly brought to task, these individuals are not going to be violent. But what about the ones who are? And what about the ones who are truly, truly ready to commit an act of political violence, and they're hearing the words of the deranged people who aren't? Okay, you are fueling a fire. Okay, if Tyler Robinson is the one person who is going to be violent, if Luigi Mangione is the other person who's going to be violent, and they're around all these, mothers and fathers at Disneyland who are acting and saying these disgusting things to somebody like JD Vance, and they're viewing this rhetoric online or in online forums, or they're in trans circles where people are talking about committing violent acts against transphobes. The person who takes that seriously is not the only problem, okay? It's also the people who are willing to say it and who are willing to incite this sort of violence. It's a really, really dangerous move, and it proves how much words matter, and we've been saying this for a long time. As the right has been villainized, as conservatives have been called neo-Nazis and fascists and, Hitler sympathizers, whatever the case may be, whatever the word may be, there's a million of them. Those words mean something, okay? And you can call so many people Nazis and neo-Nazis that the words don't matter anymore, but they matter to some. And in fact, where you take away the word's meaning, you give it a whole nother meaning to a different group of people. And unfortunately, these people are often deranged and violent. And guys, so there you have it. Those are updates on the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and we now have a very clear-cut motive as to why that took place in the eyes and through the eyes of Tyler Robinson. We've updated you on Luigi Mangione, and we've talked about this idea of left-leaning violence and whether or not it is an issue that has a certain stake in leftist ideology. And I think the clear-cut answer is yes. We had that further substantiated by the statements made by JD Vance on the Charlie Kirk show. And the takeaway is words matter, okay? The meanings of words matter. Violence is never something to be justified in any way, shape, or form, especially political violence. And we're in an era right now where things can get a whole lot scarier or they could get a whole lot better. And it's contingent upon the way people take in this information, how desensitized we are to this information, and how we react to this information. And we can have a sort of internal moral compass that tells us that this is not okay, and we start operating in that way online, in our communities, face to face with one another. Or we can go down a much darker route where we justify violence, and even worse than that, we act violently. I'm over it, guys. I'm over it. I think we need to start calling these individuals out who are inciting violence, who are celebrating violence and justifying it. And we need to move on to a safer, pluralistic society, because that's what the United States of America was meant to be. And we are far from it right now. Guys, leave your thoughts on this news update in the comments down below. As always, if you disagree with anything I said in this video, do get out, but do so respectfully. I encourage healthy debate on this channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow with more in the crazy world that we're living in. So hang on.